Okay, welcome back to part two of this video, of this guide. I just remember that I didn't actually tell you guys my name, but I think if you are watching this video, you would know. My name is Fatima Sidibe, and I live in the UK. And Yeah, that's the main thing. And I'm 47 years old now. So if you have any further questions, you can ask me. Feel free to ask me in the group chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right. Okay. So let's get on with the video. Okay. So I talked about the mentality in the first video. So now how I cemented this mentality in me, because like I said before, I didn't have this mentality of asking a man for money. I was very, very uncomfortable. I didn't know how to ask a man for money. I was shy, ashamed, and I didn't know how to flirt. I felt funny and weird flirting and all of that. I didn't really know how to position myself as a woman who would ask a man for money, because I was raised to be a woman who takes care of herself. Many of us were raised like that, go to school, get a job, take care of yourself. Don't take any shit from any man. And that's what I was raised on. So and you're raised to be very independent, which I am. Independent in a sense, I like my own space. I like to be by myself. I I was raised to know how to take care of myself and know how to, deal with things by myself. So when you are in a relationship with a man, that also comes across, and I had to change that a little bit. I had to soften that part of me a little bit, because I was like too too independent, like as in like, I got it, I don't need your help. I remember one time even I was dating this guy. We just went on a couple of dates actually. And he lives not very far from me. And he was a good guy. He was a player. I know he was a player. He just wanted to, this is not an older, this is not a guy that I wanted to, date for money and stuff. But it was just a guy I went on a date with. It was when I was on Tinder. And we were talking. I was supposed to travel. I was supposed to go to, I don't know whether it was London or no, I think it was abroad. I don't know. I don't remember exactly where I was supposed to go. But I know I had an early morning flight to go to the airport. And because I was talking to him and during that time, he said to me, I can come and pick you up. I can take you to the airport, in the morning. Like I have to be at the airport by like 7 o'clock, about 7 o'clock ish. And I was like, oh no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. I don't want to, burden you. I will take a taxi. And then, in the morning, that's exactly what I did. I took a taxi. Even though he insisted, I was like, no, no, don't worry about it. But I was like, afterwards, I was like, why didn't I just say yes? He doesn't live far away from me. He has a car. He could have come and picked me up. But because I had this mentality of I got it, I can do it by myself. I rejected that man's help. And it happened in many cases. I've done that in the past. So I had to learn how to soften that part of me and learn how to ask a man to help me, learn how to ask a man to help me, especially in things that I know how to do, even in silly things. And yeah, before I forget, I used to do this. I used to go to even petrol stations to buy petrol for my car, to get petrol for my car. And that's a simple thing. It's just you just go and then you take the, what do you call it, the nozzle off and put it in. I used to go to petrol stations and ask men to help me do that, because I was like, I don't know how to do it. I was practicing being vulnerable and asking men for money. I did all of that, just to get out of this too independent nature. So you may also have to do that. So that's one tip. Okay, so Yeah, that's one way in which one thing that I needed to soften. So I had to learn how to do that. Um, the other way in which I cemented my this mentality of positioning myself to be with a sugar daddy, is I listened to an online a YouTuber called Shira7. She's very, very she's still famous, very, very famous. I used to listen to her since I was listening to her since 2007, 17. And I at that point I was listening to her almost every day. Every single day I was listening to her. And I used that as a way to change my mentality, to brainwash myself into being this other kind of woman who can get these kind of things from a man. Because if you have to find a way to brainwash yourself, and you have to, if you're not naturally a woman who just can ask a man for large amounts of money, ask a man for help, position yourself in a way that a man would do that, you're going to struggle if you're like too independent. Your ego is attached to your independence, your ego of doing things by yourself, and because you've defended it in the past. I don't need a man, and I can do this for myself, and blah 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 and all that. We've all said that. And yeah, it's true, you don't really need a man, but in this case you want a man to do certain things for you, so you have to know when to roll that part of you back. And so that's what I did. I listened to her every day. you know I'm just telling you what I did. You may do something different. You could listen to me, or you could listen to somebody else, or you could do something else. Something else is going to help you cement this new mentality of being this new kind of woman who asks men, who is comfortable and feels deserving of asking men for money, who is comfortable allowing a man to pamper her, allowing a man to take her on expensive travels, expensive trips, expensive holidays, allowing a man to make large purchases, expensive purchases for you without you feeling guilty, or without you feeling bad, or feeling like, oh, I can't accept this and that. No, no, you have to program yourself. If you like reading too, you can read. I also did that. I bought all of these books. This book is called the Sensuous Woman. I hate it when it comes out like this, like in the opposite way. Um, on the screen. This is I like this book because it's very practical. But this is a book. It's not about like gold digging. This is just a book about being a sensuous woman. It's a book written by somebody called Jay, and I like it because it's a book written like in the 1960s. So I like these kind of books because it's like they get to the stuff um, quicker and easier, and then there's less fluff. This internet age now, people try to make things more complicated and make things so superfluous, and like but in those days when there was no internet, it was just it was what it was. So I like the frankness of this book. Yeah, so I read this book. I also bought this book uh, called How to Seduce a Man and Keep Him Seduced. If you like reading, you can get these kind of books. So these books, it's not that I got them to copy what they did. I just wanted to be in this mentality of being a seductive woman, being a woman who flirts, who's comfortable flirting, who knows how to be with a man, and knows how to be with a man whom she wants to pamper her, knows how to, be that girly kind of woman. Because I was not that. I was not that woman. Knowing how to be with a man who, is talking shit, and he's talking shit. I mean, when I say talking shit, I mean like he's like maybe saying something that that's actually wrong in the sense, but you just laugh about it. You don't like challenge him and tell him like that's wrong. This is what it is. It's not. I used to be that woman. I have to learn how to soften that. So I bought all of these books because I like reading. If you don't like reading, don't get into books. Use another way. You don't. It's just because I like reading. So I used all of these books to just, help me be in this mentality of being seductive, and not to copy them, because I didn't want to copy them. You know. And I also bought this book by Jeannie Sales. It's called Seduction Mystique. She used to have a couple of YouTube videos. I used to watch them too. I don't know whether they're still there, but I used to watch her videos. So all of this is just really about seduction, seduction, body language, and things like that. It's just to put me in that space, and not to copy them, because um, you're not going to do it the way they are doing it, because they just wrote down their own way of how they did it. You're going to find your own style of how you're going to do it, even though some of the principles will be similar. This principle still is the same, but you're going to find your own way of doing things. Do not copy anyone's way, to the T, because that's going to mess you up, because you have your own way of being. So you find your own way of being seductive. What's seductive about you? You're going to learn that. I also listen to online books online, audiobooks. I'm sure many of you have heard of the book by Robert Greene, what's it called? The Art of Seduction? Wait. What's it called? Sorry, let me just get that. Yeah, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. Yeah, it's an audio book. It's on YouTube. It's free. You can listen to it. All of these are things that you can use to help yourself, get you in that space, get you into that mentality of being a seductive woman, being a woman who can position herself to get a man to really spend money on her. I also, this book was actually a gift, Confessions of a Working Girl. This book is not about seduction. This book is about a working girl, a prostitute, an escort, who was talking about her experience in her job, about the different types of men that she meets. This just gets you into the mentality of knowing how much men value sex, and that they would pay for it, and do a lot of things, for it. So not that that's what you're going to use primarily, but it's part of it. Being a seductive woman and being in this game is, being like completely averse to intimacy and sex. If you're that type of woman, you cannot really do this, because you're gonna have to do it at some point. All right. But like I always say, when people frown at that and say, oh, well, that's just you being a prostitute, I'd rather be a prostitute for a guy who builds my entire life for me, who gives me money to, buy a house, buy a big house, buy a brand new car, takes care of me, gives me an allowance, and do all that. I'd rather be a prostitute for that guy than be a cheap slut for someone who doesn't do shit for me. I value that. That's what I value, So if you value something else, that's fine. That's you. But I value being taken care of. I value being pampered, so therefore I'm going to value being with a guy who pampers me over a guy, or being with a guy who does not pamper me. And I'm going to be doing the same thing anyway. See again how people try to program you to make you believe that, oh, being with a guy, I never understood that anyway. I always say that that's a Western kind of mentality because I'm an African. From a very young age, I was surrounded by the notion of investing in a woman. You see these older guys. They were probably guys in their 40s, like when I was young, um, coming to a home making jokes about, that young girl, she's gonna be my wife, and they will say things like, I'm gonna tie a ribbon around her wrist, and I'm gonna start investing. So they'll bring like bags of rice, or like give the mother like money, and jokingly say that, I'm doing all these investments because when she grows up, she's gonna be mine. So as a young woman, I was very, very aware of the notion of a man investing in a woman before he can have her. But this, I don't know, I don't want to sound racist or what, but it's like a Western mentality of like, if you ask him, if a guy is giving you money, or if a guy is pampering you, and you having sex with him, that's immoral. That's like you don't. It's almost like they're saying that you can't love a man if he's giving you money, or the sex is like, the sex cannot be good, or the sex cannot be valued, something like that. I mean, I mean, but if you're giving a guy sex for free, that means, oh, you love him, you care about him, see the foolishness. I mean, don't we pay much more money for things that we value? I don't understand the correlation there. When you're with a guy that you're giving you companionship to, giving all these other things to, including sex, and then he takes care of you financially, to show his appreciation, and understanding that you're a woman and you want that, then that's immoral. You're not supposed to do that. That is tainting the relationship, because there's an exchange of money here, and all that. But when you're doing it for free, then, oh, that's like, that's lofty, that's moral. See the mentality, But then in the same vein, we go to a car lot, and the car that we buy for £250,000, £250,000, it seemed to be more valuable than buying a Peugeot for, like, I don't know, £20,000. Don't we value things we pay more for? I don't understand that mentality. So don't even get into that. Don't let, this is again about defining, other people defining what is good for you. You define yourself. You define what you want. You define how you want it and what it means to you. Don't let other people tell you that what you're doing, this is what it means. No, I decide what it means. Okay. And if I want to be in a relationship with a guy who I want to pamper me because I'm giving him companionship, I'm doing all these other things for him, then that's valuable to me. I don't want to be in a relationship with a guy who doesn't do anything for me. That's not like, I don't value that. So I don't care what other people value. I don't value it. I feel like a man should do something for my time and my companionship, and I shouldn't be in a relationship where a man doesn't do shit for me. So another book that I also read, but I read this afterwards. This is a book about pickup artists. This is a guy called Neil Strauss. He considers himself a pickup artist. This is a book for men, actually. He wrote this for fellow men, to pick up women, randomly. And I like sometimes reading books for men because you can really understand their mentality, and it's kind of fun. Sometimes it's a little bit obscene, and you you kind of want to slap them like for being like that, but it's the reality of who they are and what they want, and how you will learn a lot by reading books about men like this, because the way they see women, they really talk about it in their books, and the things they do to manipulate women, sleeping with them and all that. So this is just a side book that I bought. I bought this way afterwards, Okay, so this is how I cemented my mentality, by watching the YouTube videos and reading these books and, you know, practicing these things out when I go out. Like I already told you that I used to go to petrol stations and ask men to help me to put petrol in my car. I did all of that. I used to go to, when I go shopping at the supermarket, I'm 5'9.5", so I'm quite tall. And when I wear heels, like when I wear a 4-inch heel, I'm as tall as 6 feet tall. But I will still go to supermarkets and I will pretend that I want something from a top shelf that I cannot reach. I'll pretend that I cannot reach it, just so I can practice getting a guy to come and help me. So this is what I'm saying. This is how I practice. You may find your own another way to practice, you know, and maybe in another area of, you know, starting to ask a man for money, or starting to ask a man for help. But, you know, it's good to practice a little bit, but just find your own way. But this is how I did it. Okay, so I did it online. I met this guy online. You can meet guys in real life too, you know. But I did it online, so I'm gonna speak from that perspective. Okay, I was on Plenty of Fish at first, and Plenty of Fish was not was free, and the quality of men there was I wasn't feeling it, so I got off Plenty of Fish, and I think I was on Match.com too. That was also the free version I was on, and I wasn't really feeling it. And then I went onto a site called OkCupid, and this is where I met this guy. Let me show you how it looks now. Okay, Cupid. So this is how it looks now. But it used to look a little bit different when I was on it. And there's a paid version. You can join. You can be on a free. You can be on a free version, but it's better to pay a little bit, because when you pay a little bit, I feel like you get a little bit more quality guys, but and guys who are at least taking it a little bit more seriously than, you know, somebody who's just on a free, you know, free version and just like looking for hookups and you know, not really serious about it. So I think I paid about, like, I don't know what it was, £9 per month. Yeah, something like, it wasn't like that expensive. When you go on the site, you have to you kind of set up your profile, and your profile is your picture and, you know, your bio, which is a little bit of information about you, and also your characteristics and what you're looking for. So the first thing is the photo. When I went on it, I took a photo that made me look attractive and alluring, and I want you to do that too. If you're going to go online, take it a little bit seriously. Make sure that when you're taking a photo, you take a photo with good lighting, you dress up, wear a dress, or if you're going to wear trousers, make sure that it looks like sexy, classy, you know, you look clean, presentable, attractive. Put your best foot forward. Don't go in just with a lackadaisical approach of, oh, it's just online dating, or what am I supposed to do? No, go put your best foot forward. Your attractiveness, like I said, is an asset from the other video. The men that are going to come on there, that's what they're going to see first, your appearance, how you look like, and that's what they're going to be attracted to. So put some effort into that. Put full face makeup on. You know, if you wear makeup, put full face makeup on. If you don't wear makeup, then at least put lipstick on and some mascara. You know, make sure you look presentable. Make sure your hair is looking good, you know, as perfect as it can be. Wear jewelry if you do wear jewelry. Wear like a proper dress. Make sure you look as attractive as possible, like you're going for an interview in a job, because you are positioning yourself to look like an attractive woman. You're positioning yourself to get be above the pack a little bit. because most women don't take that time to dress up, because it's like it's not serious to them. It's like it's not a big deal. Why do I have to dress up, blah 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 and all that? No, you take that time to dress up. That's how you're going to stand out. That's how your appearance is going to stand out. Also, when you take a picture, do not take a picture with other friends in it. Like, I see some women do this. They take pictures with other women in it, like, taking pictures of when they went out to clubbing or when they went out to an event, to a wedding event, and there are clearly other people in the picture. I'm like, why would you do that? So now if a guy goes on your profile, who's the one that he's attracted to? Don't do that. Take a picture of just you, and have like about 3 different profiles, like, maybe sitting down or lying down with, half of your body, and also standing up where they can see your entire body, and maybe you with a book, or with I don't know, with your dog if you have one, with your pet or whatever, and make sure maybe wear a different dress, wear like a different outfit in the photos if you can, but make sure your photos are top notch. You are as attractive as possible, because this is it's something that you want. It's something that you really you really really, yeah, you want it, and it's like, it's serious in a sense. It's not just like you're just dating just for dating's sake. You want something out of it. So take it seriously from the get-go. Don't just go on and be like, oh well, let me just go on like I'm wearing a pair of jeans and this and that. No. Position yourself to be attractive as possible from the get-go. And I'm going to tell you why you should do that. I was going to wait until later on, but I'm going to tell you now. The reason why you do that is because you have to position yourself to be this attractive, alluring woman who, whenever you are with a guy, when you meet a guy who's like older than you, and then he's who's going to spend money on you, you always have to be in a position where you are out of his league. He has to feel like you are out of his league. He has to feel like he can't get you. The only way he can get you is because he has money. There has to be that. He cannot be like an equal to you. He cannot feel like he's equal to you, because if he feels like he's equal to you in that way, he's going to be like, why should I give her all this money? I can get somebody else. If he feels that he cannot get you because of your attractiveness, because of the way you converse with him, because of the way you make him feel, because of your, I don't know, your wit, your intelligence, also your sexual skills, he's not going to want to lose you. And that's why you position yourself from the beginning to be out of his league. And the first thing that you have is your attractiveness. It's the way you look. So that's the first thing. Then you also go on to, they ask you questions about your characteristics, about how tall you are, if you're 5 foot, I don't know, 5'4", 5'7", whatever, put it in. They also ask you about your age range, about your hobbies, things about you. These are just like things that you kind of tick, or you don't really spend that much time on. What are some of your interests and hobbies, and also where you live, like how many kilometers far you are. How many kilometers far do you want the guy that you're dating to be away from you? Just things like that, things about yourself. They also ask you about characteristics that you're looking for in a man. How tall you want the guy to be, what kind of occupation, you want him to be in, how much money do you want a guy to be earning, things like that, what his interests are and hobbies. And also that just reminded me about the occupation. Put an occupation there that makes you seem like You have got your own thing going on, but it's not giving you so much money that you don't need him. This thing is a subconscious thing, and I don't care again what people say. It is a reality that if a man feels like, you have to understand that a lot of these men, they have fragile egos. Even the super rich ones, just because they know how to make money doesn't mean that their ego is not fragile. If you position yourself as someone who is in an occupation that makes much more money than him, he is not going to feel obliged to give you money or to help you out in that way, because it's like, you already have the money. Why would I give you money? Why would I help you out? Why would I, it's a power dynamic, and you want to position yourself as the one who is out of his league, but at the same time you need him to help you with stuff. Don't get tripped about, why should I do that? I went to school, I'm intelligent. Why should I hide my qualities? Why should I hide my intelligence? Think about your goal. Do what it takes to get your goal. You're getting you if you do this right and you get to the end of it, you're gonna get things that you it's almost like you're getting it for like almost free, or you're getting it for the same amount of work you would have done with someone who's not going to do it for you. So think about your goal. Don't go in with an ego thinking that, why do I need to hide my intelligence? Why do I need to do this? Why not? Think about, just like I said, think about your goal. Okay. So yeah, put an occupation there which is makes him understand that you earn some money and you take care of yourself, but sometimes you need help. You need financial help, and you want to do things. You want to travel. You want to go on expensive trips, and sometimes the money that you're earning cannot give you that. So he needs to help you with that. All right. Okay, and then also the other thing about your profile is your bio. There's also going to be a little bit of space for you to talk about yourself. Just put, like, don't write a lot. Just 2 or 3 lines about maybe something that expresses your personality, about something that you like to do, or something that says a little bit about you. Understand that these men, the first thing that you're going to look at is your profile, your picture. Most of these men are not going to read this long paragraph. If you write a lot of things, they're not going to take that time to read all of that. And even if they do, and the ones that do, they won't even care, because what they really care about, the first thing that they care about, is how you look like. And once you get to chatting with them, they're still going to ask you questions about what do you do, and and you're going to have to elaborate a little bit more. So the bio doesn't really, that you don't need to write too much. So just 3 or 4 lines, just introducing yourself, or saying something about what you do, something that expresses your personality, that kind of thing. Okay, and then that's what I did on OkCupid. And I think it wasn't that long. I think within a week, I was chatting with guys, I was, chatting with other guys, but I think within a week, I started chatting with this guy that became my sugar daddy. And, I was like, I started practicing with him, practice online flirting with him, telling him, oh, you're so handsome. Oh, and, he was showing me his house, showing me, all of that happens. What happens is when you start chatting, they want to take you off online. They want to take you off the app as quickly as possible, so you can give them your number, and so you can chat with them on WhatsApp if you have it, or on email. So he didn't have a mobile. He had emails because of his age. He was in his late 60s. So I guess because of, I don't know, the time he was like born in, he didn't really want a mobile or whatever. Anyway, he had an email, so he asked me to give him my email address, which I did. And so we started communicating by email. So on email, he would send me pictures of his house, of where he lives, like explaining things to me, and I would also be like flirting with him and sending him pictures of, sometimes when I buy like a flower pot, or when I cook something, I'll send him a picture of, this is what I'm eating today, things like that. You don't send at the beginning, do not send any, you should not even be sending nude photos at all, because that's not how you're positioning yourself. It's about timing. If you're gonna do that, I'm gonna tell you about when, if you want to do it, I'm gonna tell you when to do it and how to do it. But no, you don't need to do that at the beginning. That's not what's gonna position you as that kind of woman. It depends. So yeah, so we started chatting through email, and I was like practicing flirting with him, telling him, I can't wait to meet you, and showing my eagerness to want to see him, want to get to know him better, want to go on a date with him. You have to do that too, because men like to feel needed. They like to feel like you desire them, especially an older guy who probably doesn't have that attention at all. Most men don't, even from women. So if you're the one that's like showing that kind of eagerness, like, I really want to see you, all this is acting, this is like, it's not that you really mean it or whatever, but it's like acting. You're acting, you're amping your desire for him up, so he feels needed. So so he'll be thinking like, oh, this woman really wants me, she wants to see me. And that makes him feel excited to also meet you. So I was doing all of that, I'm picking him up, getting him to anticipate meeting me on a date, and looking forward to it, and being excited about life, and being excited about having a new routine and all of that. So finally, we decided to meet. I think it was like just a week after we started chatting. We decided to meet for lunch at a restaurant. And then I wanted to test him. I wanted to test to see whether he's the kind of guy that spends money on women. Remember, I don't know this guy. I'm just chatting with him online. I'm chatting with him through email. I met him online, and I'm chatting with him on email. So I don't know whether he's generous in that way. And I didn't want to waste my time. I would have still gone out on a date with him, but I wanted to also test him. Sometimes you can do that. So I did. So we set a date to meet, to go on for lunch, and I was still like kind of in this, making him feel excited, making him feel anticipate the meeting, and every time I talk to him, I'd be flirting with him, and yeah, so making him feel excited. Okay, so what I did is I waited till about like, I think I waited about like I don't know, 3 days or so before the date, and I told him that I was like, I have this thing. I just woke up one day and I said, I have an issue. Oh my God. I was like, I started acting like I have an issue. My fridge started leaking. My fridge was leaking all night. And so I have to go and look for a fridge. So I stopped talking to him that day. Like, I didn't talk to him that day. I only talked to him like in the morning. And I was like, I had to act like busy and stuff like that, because now he's used to talking to me. He's used to talking to me in that 1 week. We used to talk like good morning, good afternoon, sharing details and stuff. And then on the day that I came up with this fake problem, which is a fake problem about my fridge leaking, I had to kind of take it away. So you take it away, you take that sense of chatting away, and then he's going to feel that void of, I was chatting to this woman and now she's kind of taking it away. So I took it away for the day, because I told him that I have this fridge, I have to fix it, blah blah blah, and it's because all the food that's in is going to get spoiled, and I actually need a fridge. I acted like I'm really disturbed by it. I'm really upset by it, and that I kind of really have to do this. Otherwise, I won't actually be able to come and meet him, because I live with my daughter, and I need to make sure that there's food in the house. Anyway, he offered to send me. He asked me how much do you need to buy. I just said £200. So he said, okay, I'm gonna send it to you. But then I was scared because I still didn't know this guy, and I didn't want to give him my account details. I didn't want to give him my bank details because I knew of scammers who use your bank details to like kind of take money from it. So I kind of was like, okay, like I don't know how you're gonna send it to me though. Like I was like, maybe to another side. We were in the process of thinking of it, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna send it to you." He sent it to me by post. He put it in some papers and a kind of a little note, and then he sent it to me, and I got it like within 2 days, and that was how I got my first bit of money from a guy that I was talking to before I got to meet him for the first date. So I did all of this to see whether he was a generous guy, whether if I have a problem, whether he would help me out, whether he would suggest helping me out. And you can also do this. That's how you test a guy to see whether he's a generous guy, or whether he has the sense to know that, okay, this woman, she has an issue and I can help her with it. But make sure it's not that big of an issue. Make sure you don't just start with asking him for a huge amount of money, because then he's going to be suspicious. He's going to be like, I only started talking to this woman for like a week or 2 weeks, and she's already asking me for like, £5,000, $5,000. That's too much. Start small. And also it's for your own sake, because if you're practicing, if you've never asked a man for money, start with a small amount, like £100, £200, and get him into the routine, the pattern of helping you out in small ways. That's how you start at the beginning, and then you can gradually increase. So that's how I started. Okay, so then it came to the time to go on the date, and we, like I said, it was a lunch date, and I went all out. I remember I wore a red dress. This is long dress, like it's like kind of like it hugs my body at the top, and then it flares out at the bottom. It's a very attractive dress that I love. Every time I wear it, people compliment me. It was red, like red, blood red, and it makes me look sexy and elegant at the same time, and my boobs were out a little bit. And I want you to do the same thing when you go out especially on the first date. I don't believe in these people who say that when you go out on the first date, you should, well, if you're looking for a sugar daddy, but even if you're going out on a normal date, that's what I do. I dress up. I naturally, I like dressing up anyway. So I dress up and also I dress up because I want to position myself as being out of your league. That's what makes a man want to give you money. That's one of the main reasons. If a man does not feel that I can get, this woman is a woman that I can get a woman like her. If he doesn't feel that, he's not going to feel that urge. If he doesn't feel that this woman is a one-of-a-kind woman, he's not going to feel that urge to do things for you in that way. If he doesn't feel that if this woman leaves me, I won't have a woman like this again, he's not going to feel that urge. So the way you make him feel that is to position yourself always as being out of his league. And the way you appear, the way you dress up is that's one part of it. There are other things, but this one is one part of it. So I use that very, very well, and I use it unapologetically. When I go on a date, I dress up to the nines. And when I get to the date and they're waiting for me outside the restaurant or wherever they're waiting for me, the first thing I see is their face like lighting up, like, wow, That's what you want. You want that reaction. You want that reaction of, wow, this woman, she looks like a goddamn, like, I don't know, fairy tale woman who just stepped out of a fairy tale land. What have I done to deserve this kind of woman? You want that reaction. You also want compliments from other people while you're with him, telling you that you're beautiful, you're pretty, or telling him that you're a lucky guy, things like that. All of those things add up to raising your stock. So he feels that what do you call it? Desire to do things for you, to keep you. He feels the desire to keep you. Okay, so yeah, so when I went to the date, that's what I wore. I wore this red dress. I put full face makeup on, my hair, like I had a wig on, not this one, was another wig, jewelry, everything, heels, and I met him at a restaurant. And when I got there, that's the same thing. That's the same reaction, like that wow reaction. And he was like, you even look prettier than your photos online. And he said something like, you should burn those photos online because you look prettier than your photos. You want that. You don't want to go on a date for the first time and have a guy looking at you like, she looks like uglier than her photos, or like I feel like she took those photos like years ago. Okay, which I forgot to talk about. When you're taking a photo, make sure you take a photo within the same week that you're posting the photo online on your profile. Do not take a photo of you 5 years ago, and make sure you look like your photo when they finally meet you, or better than your photo. Do not put a photo of you online when you were fat 5 years ago, now you're slim, or when you were slim 5 years ago and now you're fat, because men are very unforgiving when it comes to appearance. They are much more unforgiving than women. A woman can forgive that. He said he was 5'10", and I found out he's 5'8". A woman would like forgive that because he has other things going on. Men, when it comes to appearance, and they value that, so they're gonna feel catfished. They're gonna feel like you were lying about it, and they're gonna feel disappointed and betrayed, and they might not even want to see you again. So make sure that the photo you're posting is a current photo. It's not like a photo of you when you look different, or make sure you look like your photo or better than your photo. So where was I? I was yeah, okay, yeah. So when I got to the date, after the initial reaction of wow, that wow reaction, we were given a table where when you go to a restaurant, you get a table where you sit opposite each other. And I told him that I don't want to sit opposite you, all in the acting of flirting again. There was this kind of, it was not a booth, but let me call it a booth, like those kind of chairs that are against the wall, velvety kind of chairs. So I suggested, why don't we sit there so I can sit next to you, because I want to sit next to you, I want to feel you, I want to sit beside you, all of that, all of that adds to this woman wants me, like, all in service of acting. So I sat beside him, and was laughing at his jokes. I would touch him, I would touch his biceps, put my hand on his thighs. All of that is flirting and being seductive and being touchy. You take control of the touching. So you don't let him touch you in that way. You take control of it. All of that I had to learn how to do. You take the initiative. So it's not that you're touching him sexually, you're touching him in his sexual parts. You're just like being a little bit touchy-feely with him, making him feel like this woman wants me. She's not afraid to touch me. She's not afraid to be playful with me. She is a sexual woman, You're telling him with your body language that you are a sexual woman without having sex, and you're not afraid to be intimate with him. Okay, so yeah, so I did all of that. We had a meal, and you know, like, yeah, like I said, I laughed at his jokes. All of that is part of it. Listened, laughed at his jokes. You know, how long can a date be? It's like a maximum of 1.5 hours, 2 hours maximum. So, you know, just be your agreeable, seductive self. You know, to bring that part out of you. That seductive, laughing, fun, playful part out of you. You're only spending like a maximum of 2 hours with him on that date. And after the date, the first date, leave. Do not linger too much. You want to give him a little bit of a taste at the beginning. Give him a little bit of a taste, but make sure the taste is potent, you know. So you go all out with your dressing up, you know, your perfume. I sat beside him so that my perfume rubs onto him. So while he was driving back, he's still gonna be smelling me. That's all of that gets filled up in his psyche, and you know he's going to start getting used to my smell. You know, all of that is a way to subconsciously program a guy in a way that you imprint yourself on him. You know, so you know you first imprint yourself with your appearance, you know, how you look like, then your smell, you know, the way you smell like, and also your behavior, your laughter, the way you laugh at his jokes, the way you kind of coo up to him, you know, the way you touch him. He's gonna remember all of that. All of that is part of you. Yeah, all of that, like I said, is part of you imprinting yourself on him. And then, you know, after the lunch or after the dinner, whatever you go to, you leave. You know, it's a short interaction with him, which is potent enough to give him the initial taste, an initial taste of you, but you just take it away. All right. So that's what I did. So he's not gonna be able to, he's gonna be thinking about you. He's gonna be thinking about you all afternoon, all night. He's gonna probably even have dreams about you. And that's how you do it at the beginning. That's how I did it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna end this video here. It's gonna be part 2, and then I'm gonna do part 3. All right, okay, see you in the next video.